Hello everybody, Ian Robson here. Welcome back to an episode of Coffee with Ian. Ooh, it's hot. Anyways, folks, got a couple things going on today. Playing a little bit of ATS the other day. Last night, actually, before I went to sleep. Was rocking my original truck, I guess the Peterbilt 389 by Viper, with the beta actually as well, doing some double trailers. It actually wasn't too bad. The truck's actually kind of set up for heavy hauling. So it's got the triaxle set up still, but it didn't make a difference with the double trailers. It didn't seem to really make a big difference in terms of at least power, because power wasn't our big problem. But in maneuverability, well, sometimes it was a bit of a problem with the extra length of the triaxle there, but overall it was pretty good. One of the things I noticed is the fact that with the Midwest Seasons mod, this is going to Farm Sim now, if you get that season, the problem you run into is you can't plant sugar beets, which is a bit sad if you like sugar beets. I don't plant sugar beets normally, but there's a couple placeable mods I would like to use that require sugar beets, so it's a bit annoying in that regard, so they kind of prevent you from using it at all. Now, I guess in reality, maybe in the Midwest they don't plant any sugar beets at all, and that's the reason why you can't do it in that season, but I don't like how it's limiting you in that regard. Anyways, but they did that in that particular season. I think Mitch pointed that out, or maybe Bob. I was like, oh, really? Come on. But I guess it makes sense. You guys tell me. I don't live in the Midwest. I live in Ontario, and they actually do plant some sugar beets in the southern Ontario, but it's not very common. Like, potatoes are much more common in the Holland Marsh area, and carrots there, onions. It's a cool little area if you ever want to see some root crops in the Holland Marsh in Ontario. Very neat little area. Go there in the fall, you'll see all sorts of crazy stuff that you wouldn't normally see other areas. So anyways, yeah, that's one of the things they did that's kind of a bit annoying. So due to that, I might think about planting, getting the global market mod and putting it in there so I can now have access to sugar beets through that way maybe. There might be an option available to me, and I forgot, I have to double check how it works, but I don't know if I have to put all the stuff in there or if other people do as well. I can't remember. I think it works for like different maps. So if I have 2 different maps and I harvest sugar beets in one, then I put it over to the other one, then that's fine, but I don't know how that works in specifically, at least, so I'll have to double check that. But I think it would work, but I think it's all just within your own save. It doesn't go on the internet at all, so I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. So anyways, I might go that route in order to get sugar beets into the map, which kind of might be a bizarre way of going about it, but it might be fun as well. Or I could just, cheat some in as well, but that's not as interesting. So yeah, that's one thing I noticed. I was a bit sad about that. Also, I was doing a little bit of logging on the server the other day, and I don't know how I managed to miss this mod. It's like a winch mod that allows you to pull logs. I'm like, I don't know why I missed it, but I don't do much logging. That's probably why I didn't pay attention to it. But it basically allows you to like hook up a cable to a log and just haul it. It's amazing. It's so easy. There's a BioBelts grappler. That's how I wanted that thing to work, but it doesn't work as nearly as well as the cable does, the winch system does. I was super surprised. Like, once you get the winch hooked up, you use it, and I'm like, mind blown. Like, it was that good. Like, I was seriously surprised. I think maybe Mitch introduced me to it, and he was like, yeah, man, like, you don't have this? I'm like, no. He's like, dude, you gotta get this. So I tried it out. I'm like, he's totally right. It was awesome. I don't do much logging, so I think that's part of the reason why. I had never really noticed it before, but it is pretty amazing. So anyways, also because I've been doing some logging, there are some of the placeables I got recently kind of relate to logging. So like the Sawmill, for example, we did the stream last week on. That was a little bit of logging involved there. Admittedly, we actually were sold that Sawmill because it didn't have any use for us with some of the other placeables we got. So we sold it and then replaced it with some other placeables that will do, has a similar function like the one we have right now does. It doesn't create boards, it creates pallets instead, because the pallets you can actually use for other things. So pallets we're used in the carton factory, and we can make charcoal as well, which sells for quite a bit actually. I was pretty surprised how well the charcoal actually sold. I think it's charcoal and like logs, I think you sell, like like fire logs, and you can make quite a bit of money from that. So I will definitely get into that at some point in the near future. So you need to think wood chips and just logs, I think, is what you need for the charcoal factory, but it does a really good job in making you some money. So yeah, it's I'm pretty happy with some of those placeables I've gotten, at least recently. Although one of the things I noticed is because I've been using placeables a lot lately, I've been noticed that a lot of areas on maps aren't designed for placeables, like they're not very flat. So what you get is like, you get like half of the building like up, and then you get like this area right here would be like floating very frequently. So in FS15 there used to be like a base, you could, like a foundation you could place down, and then you could put the building on top of that foundation, and it would like give you a level area to work with, and it was fantastic. But so far I have not discovered something like that in FS17 yet, so I'm a little bit sad, because that would make placeables like amazing. Like the other option of course would be to go into Giants Editor and make a flat area yourself, but that requires editing the map in Giants Editor and all that jazz, so which sometimes requires you to start a whole new fresh save, and I don't want to do that. So that's the reason why I was looking for a placeable option. I don't think it would be difficult to convert, I don't think, but maybe it would be, I don't know. But if you know of something like that, let me know in the comments, because that would be awesome to find out. Or if you want to convert that mod, that would be awesome too. So oh, I can't believe it's funny. This morning I had a coffee, and I had, like, you know when you make coffee and I made a full pot of coffee this morning, not just for myself by the way, but for my wife as well. And you know when you have like you make coffee and the first little bit that goes into the pot, for whatever reason I didn't let the pot fill up all the way, so it was, I took a cup of coffee from like the very first little bits, which is like the strongest coffee out of all of it, and because of that I feel like the squirrel in I forget which movie it is now, but the squirrel who has caffeine for the very first time, and time just stops for him, and he's like, wow, look at that. And he's like, he's moving so quickly, everything seems like it's standing still. That's what I feel like right now for some reason. But I don't know. I'm on my second cup of coffee, that's probably part of it as well, and I haven't had breakfast yet, so that's also probably part of it. But anyways, that's besides the point. Also, I recently got a gift on Steam, and I really appreciate that. It is the Wallpaper Engine, so thank you very much for giving that gift. You know who you are. That was a super cool gift. Basically, it's what it is a it's not something super crazy complicated, but it's basically a wallpaper mod, but it does like animated wallpapers. So for example, the one I have right now is a space one that basically just, it's like a space that turns around the desktop. So like right now I have two windows open and it's not doing anything, but if I were just to go to the desktop and I could not have any other windows open, you would see the space like turning around very slowly. It's pretty trippy actually. I think it's very cool. It was on my wish list for a long time, and I just had never gotten around to picking it up. But I was recently given that as a gift, so thank you again, much appreciated. Sometimes it's the small things in life, right? Like coffee, for example, or wallpapers that just make your life that much better sometimes. Yeah, was there anything else I wanted to mention in terms of farm sim? ATS, ETS. One of the things that probably will happen soon. Actually, there was something in ATS that came out. There was a musical road they released. That's one of the. I guess it's New Mexico, where you drive over the road and it plays a particular song, which I think is kind of interesting. SES did that. They always like to include those little Easter eggs in their game. Like, for example, there's a racetrack you can go around, and there's actually an achievement for, I think, going on the racetrack. There's a musical road now. I'm sure there's also some other things, like there's a big chicken that's somewhere you can see, fireworks sometimes, hot air balloons, what else is there, shooting stars sometimes, like little things like that. And sometimes when you're driving around, you just notice, you're like, whoa, that's awesome, and you don't realize, because just everything else kind of seems normal, and then you drive and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? It's kind of neat. So anyways, also, I've been doing a little bit of ATS, as I mentioned, and I've been rocking around just in the vanilla. I haven't included the coast to coast map yet, because I'm running the beta right now, and if you include the coast to coast with beta, open beta, sometimes that doesn't play very nicely. So until it gets updated, I'll probably update whenever that gets updated, because it's been a while since I have updated to the latest version of coast to coast. I think I'm still running like an old version or something, so I'll have to update when the open beta becomes the public release, and then they are able to actually adjust the coast to coast map and the Canada Dream map. So, and hopefully they've included some nice adjustments, because I haven't upgraded in a while. Driving in the coast to coast map, while it's cool to go from like places like New York City to like Montreal, Canada, there's not much to see in between. Whereas driving from like Las Vegas, Nevada to like San Francisco, there's lots more to see. So of course that's SES made versus mod. But you know, if you compare like that kind of map to like the Russian map, for example, in ETS, the Russian map's amazing. Or Pro Mods, for example, another amazing addition. And there's one other one. What's the other one? I don't think I used the other one. That's why I can never remember it. But there's another one you can use as well. So it'll be kind of cool once we get an extra state. I think I might stick to vanilla once we get the extra state. We'll see. Just because the coast to coast map does cause some problems, and it's not as picturesque as the other places. So we'll see. So, anyways, folks, I think that's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for some more Coffee with Iain.